Hello and welcome to Claire and Bloom, where I share my love of fragrance, body care, and beauty. In this video, I'll be reviewing the Bath & Body Works Everyday Luxuries collection. Thank you so much for stopping by, and let's get started. Bath & Body Works originally released the Everyday Luxuries collection in March, and at first it was only available in select stores, including one of my local ones. I had picked these up in store, but I was on a break from making videos at the time, so while I reviewed them briefly on Instagram, I never got around to doing a full video review. Since the original launch, they expanded the collection to online, and now they've just re-released them in stores, and I believe it's in all stores this time. This line is widely known to be so-called dupes of famous designer perfumes, and honestly, I feel a bit mixed about that. I'm not really into dupe culture, as I think there's too much emphasis on calling every scent a dupe, which feels a bit disingenuous at times. I can understand that body mists are more accessible to a wider range of people, so this line might be the only option for some to have scents similar to designer fragrances. However, I feel like Bath & Body Works, and Victoria's Secret as well, have so many beautiful fragrance mists in their own right that I'm not sure why there's a need to copy other scents. But that's just my opinion. I will compare the mist to their rumored inspiration perfumes in this video because I assume that's what a lot of people would be interested in. And a reminder, if you want to see mini reviews or what's coming up on my channel, you can join me over on Instagram at Claire and Bloom. There are 10 new scents in the Everyday Luxuries collection, and I picked up all of the fragrance mists. These come in the beveled faceted style bottle, so they are more expensive at $18.95 US. I would have preferred fancy decorative labels versus the so-called special bottles, but at least they made them in a rainbow of colors so we can tell them apart. We had heard rumors of additional products for the line this time around, such as body lotion and wash, but I've yet to see any signs of those. I hope they are still coming, otherwise I think it's a real missed opportunity, because I feel like scents without matching lotions won't be as popular, and definitely not as useful for me personally. The collection includes the following scents, along with a brief description of each. Covered in Roses. Savor the softness of lush florals and immerse yourself in the luxury of 1,000 rose petals at your fingertips. Pink Obsessed. We made you blush. Embody the power of pink, and take a trip to your happy place with this perfect blend of vanilla and warm florals. Oh Cherry. An irresistible addiction. Bring on the bold with this punch of red fruit. This fragrance puts the cherry on top. Petal Parade. Like taking your first steps into your favorite flower shop, shower yourself in this flower petal confetti and celebrate you. Getaway Soirée. Say farewell to your blues. Brighten your day with a spritz of sunshine that is sure to transport you to your own vacation getaway. Viva Vanilla. Revive your senses and live life on the edge of comfort with this vanilla luxury bursting with spirit and spunk. If You Musk. If you must know, this scent was made for you. Let your natural radiance shine with this everlasting scent that brings out the best in you. Lost in Santal. Let's get lost in the secret of sandalwood. Rediscover yourself with this witty and sophisticated scent. On the Horizon. Like sitting at the ocean's edge and watching the sun dip beneath the horizon, transport yourself to this waterfront retreat and let your worries drift away. And Floral Fantasy. Close your eyes and feel transported into your wildest dreams. Embrace the tranquility and peacefulness of your own secret flower garden. And now let's get on to the reviews. The first scent in the collection is Covered in Roses, which comes in the light pink bottle. And this has notes of ruby berries, sugared rosebuds, and blush amber. And this is really beautiful. It has a very familiar scent profile, which is a subtly sweet fruity rosiness with a hint of spice. The berries aren't overly dark or strong, and the rose is sweet, more dry than jammy, and doesn't feel green. The amber adds a warm, lightly powdery sweetness, and overall the scent is just really pretty and feminine. And for comparisons, first I have Delina from Parfums de Marly, and this is a very popular rose perfume with lychee, rhubarb, and vanilla. And I have to admit, when I first sprayed Covered in Roses, it did instantly remind me of Delina, which is ridiculously overpriced. They're both fruity rose scents with a soft sweetness and touch of spiciness, but Delina has a slightly sharper fruit as well as more depth, as there are a lot of other notes in it that I assume are not in Covered in Roses. However, as far as scent goes, they are very similar, and if you don't have Delina, this can probably fill the void. I really love rose fragrances, and this will be up there for me amongst my Bath & Body Works scents, along with Sweet Petal Pound Cake. Then I have Carolina Herrera Very Good Girl, which is also a rose scent, and like Delina has lychee and vanilla. I wanted to offer one other comparison, and these also share the soft rose and fruity sweetness, but Very Good Girl is sweeter and more vanillic, and doesn't have the added spice in Covered in Roses, so this is less similar than Delina. The next scent in the collection is Pink Obsessed, which comes in the darker pink bottle. And this has notes of blushing jasmine, cashmere praline, and vanilla bourbon. And this is a sweet perfumey floral with a strong, heady jasmine. The praline and vanilla give it a touch of a gourmand quality, but it's more vanillic and floral than sugary sweet. I don't really pick up on the bourbon as I'm not getting any smokiness or booziness, but maybe it's just giving the vanilla a darker quality. This is another really nice scent, and I think this one has mass appeal. And for comps, first I have the original Donna Born in Roma from Valentino, which also has jasmine and vanilla bourbon, as well as cashmere. And these do have a similar scent profile as they're both jasmine scents with vanilla. However, Born in Roma feels a bit brighter with a warmer woodiness than Pink Obsessed. Then I have Born in Roma Intense, which also has jasmine and vanilla along with benzoin. These also share the heady jasmine and vanilla sweetness, but Born in Roma Intense is sweeter and warmer than Pink Obsessed, as the jasmine takes more of a back seat to the ambery vanilla and resinous benzoin. To me, this is less similar to Pink Obsessed than the original. I wanted to only include permanent line perfumes in my comparisons, but I did feel like I had to mention that Pink Obsessed does bear a lot of similarity to the limited edition Born in Roma Pink PP Flanker that came out last year, which I do have and compared with it. That one has orange blossom and bourbon vanilla, and might indeed be the closest version of Born in Roma to Pink Obsessed, but Born in Roma Pink PP is still, I think, brighter and sweeter. The next scent in the collection is Eau Cherry, which comes in the red bottle. And this has notes of black cherry, sheer magnolia, and tonka bean. And this is a rich, syrupy cherry with a soft floral and creamy sweetness. I love cherry scent, so I was most excited for this one, and it doesn't disappoint. The cherry is strong and dark at first, and while the scent isn't overly gourmand, it has a nice amount of vanillic sweetness and a hint of nuttiness from the tonka bean. The cherry does soften as it dries, but it's still really nice and creamy and sweet. And for comps, of course everyone wants to know if this is a dupe for Tom Ford Lost Cherry. These share the cherry and tonka bean, but Lost Cherry has jasmine and rose instead of magnolia. And I'm sorry, but these are not even close to me. Lost Cherry is a delicious, boozy, almondy cherry, while Eau Cherry is a softer, creamy, florally cherry. And when I'm comparing scents, I'm actually comparing them head to head, not remembering something I smelled a while ago. I think that Eau Cherry is a really nice scent, and I did buy backups of it, but it is not remotely comparable to the strong cherry amaretto perfection that is Lost Cherry. Anyone who says it is either hasn't smelled Lost Cherry or is smoking something. I'm just kidding, but I don't understand how these can be seen as dupes. At all. And for a more affordable comp, I have Not Another Cherry from Finery, which only shares the rose note. This is more similar to Lost Cherry, but still not spot on, and definitely not as delicious. This is also sweeter and nuttier than Eau Cherry, which is more creamy and floral. If you want something that has a scent profile like Lost Cherry, this is the closest I've found, and it's only a little more than a full-price body mist. I do have a review of this on my channel if you want more details. The next scent in the collection is Petal Parade, which comes in the purple bottle. And this has notes of neroli petals, orange flower, and white woods. And it's a sweet, perfumey floral with a warm, citrusy kick. The orange blossom is quite strong, and the scent has an interesting sort of sweetness, almost like honeyed marshmallows. It's not super sweet though, it's really a citrus floral scent. And for comps, first I have the original Prada Paradoxe, which also has neroli as well as amber and white musk. These are both white florals with neroli and smell very, very similar, if not spot on, but Paradoxe feels stronger and a tiny bit sweeter. I'd say this is one of the scents with the closest resemblance to the Inspiration perfume. And then I have the original Giorgio Armani My Way, which also shares the orange blossom and woods, but has bergamot instead of neroli. These are also very similar white florals with citrus, but My Way feels a bit more woody and has the addition of a bubblegummy tuberose. I feel Paradoxe is more spot on, while My Way is still very close to Petal Parade. I personally prefer My Way over Paradoxe. The next scent in the collection is Getaway Soirée, which comes in the golden orange bottle. And this has notes of sun-kissed mandarin, tuberose, and solar musk. And this is a very beachy solar floral with a citrusy brightness. The tuberose is strong and doesn't have the bubblegummy sweetness that I prefer. This also has that sunscreen lotion type of feel to it, and the musk is giving it a dirty, beachy quality that I don't really care for. This isn't my type of scent, but if you like warm solar florals, you might want to check it out. And since this really isn't a scent profile that I'd like, I only have one comparison, and that's Tom Ford Soleil Blanc, which only shares the tuberose but also has citrus. These do have a similar feel to them with the heavy tuberose and beachy solar quality, but Soleil Blanc has more sweetness from notes like coconut and tonka. Neither are something I would reach for, but if I had to pick, I prefer Soleil Blanc, as Getaway Soirée has a sharper edge to it. The next scent in the collection is Viva Vanilla, which comes in the brown bottle. And this has notes of rich plum, glowing amber, and addictive vanilla. And this is a deep, syrupy vanilla with just a hint of fruitiness from the plum, and maybe some muskiness as well. The amber adds a warm, powdery sweetness, and the scent also has a softly spicy quality. I think this is really nice, and it's pretty sweet without being sugary, and seems to have a touch of wittiness as well. And for comps, first I have the original Eilish by Billie Eilish, which also has amber and vanilla, but has berries instead of plum. These are both warm, spicy vanillas, but Eilish is spicier and woodier and has added rose, but they do have a similar scent profile. I find Viva Vanilla to be sweeter and more of a straightforward vanilla than Eilish. Next, I have Maud Vanilla from Ariana Grande, which also has plum and vanilla notes. I feel these are really similar as they share the powdery vanilla and touch of syrupy plum. Maud Vanilla isn't spicy though, so Viva Vanilla kind of feels like a mashup of Eilish and Maud Vanilla. I'd say Maud Vanilla is closer though. Then I have Kayali Vanilla 28, which also has amber as well as vanilla orchid. I wanted to compare these, but Vanilla 28 is noticeably more floral and syrupy sweet. They do share a similar ambery vanilla quality though, but Viva Vanilla is more powdery and spicy. The next scent in the collection is You Musk, which comes in the pale beigey bottle. And this has notes of iris, pink pepper, and airy musk. And it's a clean, slightly spicy musky scent that's a bit earthy or maybe woody. The pink pepper is a bit much at first, but as the scent dries, it becomes more of a soft, slightly powdery florally musk. I don't typically love musk scents unless it's Narciso Rodriguez, but this is pleasant once it's dried down and reminds me of scents like Lovely that I'd wear for bedtime. Unfortunately, I don't have Bath & Body Works Kaleidoscope, so I can't compare them, but I've heard this may be similar. And as far as perfumes, You Musk is being compared to Glossier You, which I also don't have, but I do have Zara's A Perfume in Rose, which is also supposed to be a dupe for You. And this has different notes with pear, rose, and ambrette, also known as muskmallow, but the scents do have a lot of similarity, as they're both clean and musky with a floral, woody feel. I would say A Perfume in Rose is a tad bit lighter and sweeter, but they are very close. The next scent in the collection is Lost in Santal, which comes in the green bottle. And this has notes of warm cardamom, satin sandalwood, and cedarwood. And I just want to be upfront and say that I don't like this at all, so you can take that into consideration when I share my thoughts. I hate cardamom, I hate cedar, and I hate the really strong earthy type of sandalwood. So I dislike all of the notes in here, and together this is just so off-putting to me. It's a really earthy, spicy, woody scent that smells like wet, dirty moss and wood. As it dries, it becomes less harsh with a softer sandalwood, but I still can't really stand it. Sorry. And I don't have any comparisons for this one because it's just not a scent profile that I would ever purchase. I believe this is supposed to be similar to Santal 33 by the Labo, which also has cardamom, sandalwood, and cedarwood, but I of course don't have that in my collection. The next scent in the collection is On the Horizon, which comes in the blue bottle. And this has notes of watery bergamot, lotus blossom, and driftwood moss. And this is an earthy, aquatic floral with a touch of citrusy brightness. I don't usually like moss scents, but it doesn't feel overly dirty here, and the scent mostly feels airy and watery. This isn't really the type of scent I'd reach for, but I think it's pleasant and I don't hate it. And for comps, first I have Giorgio Armani Acqua di Gioia, which has different notes of lemon, jasmine, and cedar. These share the fresh, watery floral quality, but Acqua di Gioia is more green with a stronger citrus and has added mint. I hate mint, so while I don't think I would wear either of these, I'd probably prefer On the Horizon. Then I have Wood Sage and Sea Salt from Jo Malone, which has sea salt, sage, and ambrette, so no common notes with On the Horizon. These are both aquatic scents with citrus, but Wood Sage and Sea Salt is more aromatic and marine-like with the salt, while On the Horizon is more airy and floral. I don't really care for Wood Sage and Sea Salt either due to the moss and salt. And the last scent in the collection is Floral Fantasy, which comes in the dark purpley blue bottle. and this has notes of peach osmanthus, jasmine, and warm patchouli. And this also has a familiar scent profile, like a very perfumey fruit patchouli. It's quite floral, and the patchouli is strong but sweet. I'm not sure if I'd reach for this because I really love Bath & Body Works Luminous, and I feel like that's a more elevated version of this, that's sweeter and more powdery. I wanted to share a few comps for this one, and first I have Viktor & Rolf Flower Bomb, which supposedly has osmanthus and patchouli, but its main notes are listed as jasmine, rose, and vanilla. These share a similar mix of florals and patchouli, so there is a likeness, but Flower Bomb is smoother and a bit sweeter and more powdery than Floral Fantasy. They are quite similar, though. Next is Mon Paris from YSL, which also has patchouli along with berry and datura flower. These are both strong florals with patchouli, but Mon Paris is more fruity and sweet than Floral Fantasy. I feel it's a bit less similar than Flower Bomb. Then I have the original La Vie Belle from Lancôme, which also has jasmine and patchouli, as well as blackcurrant and praline. These again are both fruit choulis with jasmine, but La Vie Belle is sweeter and more powdery. I think Floral Fantasy is closer to Flower Bomb and Mon Paris, while Luminous is closer to La Vie Belle. Overall, I still have mixed feelings about this collection. I do think it's a nice mix of different scent profiles, and I do like most of the scents, but I'm still not sold on the theme of designer dupes. The TikTok dupe culture that's so prevalent lately is just not my thing, and I'd rather see a genuine review than having every scent called a dupe of this or that, especially when it seems like most of them are not dupes at all. Every cherry scent is not going to be Lost Cherry, and every rose scent isn't Delina. However, that being said, I do think that Bath & Body Works did a good job with these designer-inspired scents. A few of them are really reminiscent of their inspiration fragrance, but others just miss the mark for me. But that doesn't mean that those ones are bad, they're just not dupes, and I actually prefer that. For someone like me who has a lot of the actual perfumes, I'm not sure there's a reason to have the ones that are dupes, though I guess they could be used to touch up during the day. But if you don't have a lot of designer perfumes and want an affordable alternative, I can see the appeal of these. I will say though, for all of the scents in this video, that the body mists are just not going to have the same performance as most perfumes. So you'll have to decide if a body mist will suffice, or if you'd maybe rather just get the travel size spray of the fragrance. These mists do seem to perform better than usual for Bath & Body Works though, with some scents like Covered in Roses, Viva Vanilla, and Floral Fantasy feeling especially strong. There were also some that weren't quite as strong though, such as You Musk. If I had to rank these, my least favorite would unsurprisingly be Lost in Santal, and rounding out the bottom three would be On the Horizon and Getaway Soirée. I just don't really see myself wearing any of those. In the middle would be Floral Fantasy, You Musk, and Petal Parade. They're all nice scents, but not massive loves for me. And in the top four are Pink Obsessed, Viva Vanilla, Oh Cherry, and Covered in Roses. Those are all loves for me, and if I had to pick a favorite, it would be Covered in Roses, because it feels really high quality and I think does a great job of trying to replicate the inspiration perfume. I had put off buying Delina for so long because the price was so ridiculous, and I would have liked to have Covered in Roses while I waited for a good deal. So that's it for my better late than never review of the Everyday Luxuries collection from Bath & Body Works. Let me know what you think of these scents and if you're going to give any of them a try if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, I hope that you'll subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.